Hello YouTube artists, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. Today I'm sharing my July challenges inside my onion skin journal, but also inside my 100-day journal. I actually filled this up. I'm so excited to share. Let's go peek inside these journals. Since July was Watercolor Month, I looked at it as a way to do a couple challenges for myself, which really meant painting every day. And I used two journals for that. This was my 100 Days of Random Things journal, and I had a few pages at the back, and I wanted to finish this book. So I finished it all the way to the front side. We'll get to that one. And then I was participating in at Meg Journals, her Junk Journal July. And the way I looked at it is, instead of using ephemera and things like that, I'm actually using my junk or the ephemera as inspiration for her prompts. So instead of doing it in a junk journal, I'm actually watercoloring my junk, if that makes sense. So there was 31 prompts for that, and I'm going to show you how I broke that down. I did a video on prompt number 1 where we did it together. I will link that in the description below. So this is an onion skin journal. If you're unfamiliar with that, I did a whole video on it. Listen to the pages. They're onion skin. And what I love is they do get crinkly, but they really do lay quite flat. You can see they're not real buckled. I think because they're really thin, it allows you to make them flatten out with just a little bit of weight on them. So here was the first 11 days, and you can see now what I mean by junk. So number 1 was Spark, and I chose a matchbox and a match for that. Number 2 was Postcard. Number 3 was Fold, which I have a little envelope down here. Number 4 was Labels, which is down here in the corner. 5 was Lettering, which I have Wonderland here. Number 6 was Wildlife, which I have a little butterfly. 7 was Window. I used the windows here from the Viewmaster disc. Observe is the Viewmaster. Number 9 is Scraps. That is all these little pieces here. Number 10 was Thread, where I made it look like thread on a piece of paper. And number 11 was Stamps. So the stamp here, and then there was a repeat stamp here, which made the window. So I'll bring that up so you can see. And I inked them first. Isn't that fun? And then I watercolored them. And then to separate them, so where this is on top of this, I used a Prismacolor pencil in French Gray number 70. Prismacolor Premier. The French Gray just worked really well with my colors, and I like the ink. The ink pen that I used is the Unipen in medium gray, and I used the 0.1. That's what I wrote all of the information here, and that's what I drew everything with. So this was prompts 1 through 11. And then I did 12 through 21 on this page. So we have packaging, which is this long packaging strip here. Light, which is this little light bulb here. Weather, which is what I included on the packaging, made it look like weather. 15 is homemade, which I did a homemade cookie. 16 is petal, so I did the flower. 17 is aged. Now that was really hard because all I could really think of was aged beef, and I do not have aged beef in my junk. So I went through some things and I found a stamp, a 5-cent stamp. So yes, that's very aged. Look what stamps are now, right? Free. I thought about free too. How do I put that in something? And I just remembered smiling. So I did a bunch of happy faces up here. Tag. Here's a tag. Picture, I made it look like a Polaroid picture. And then colors, I used my watercolor half pans in here. So let me bring that up so you can see it. See all my weather elements there? There's my little 5-cent stamp. That was prompts 12 through 21. And then prompts 22 from 31, we have timeless. Timeless was hard. What would you have done for timeless? Well, then I started going through some of my stuff, or my junk as we call it, and I found paper doll clothes. So I thought of a timeless black dress, and then I just added the notches that we used to fold over for the paper doll clothes. So that's timeless. 23 is tip in. So here I'm using a pencil to tip in some dark color. Ephemeral, when I looked up ephemeral, it is a butterfly. So I put a butterfly in here. Tea-dyed. Tea-dyed, I wanted to put the tea bag, but then instead of leaving this piece of paper back here, I kind of lightly stained it with the tea. Shade, so I have colors here and they got darker, so the darkest is the shade. Poetic. I found a great Georgia O'Keeffe quote. It says, "To create one's own world takes courage." I love that. Buttons. I have 4 buttons here. Contrast. I used blue and orange just to show the contrast. Shine. I used the little pen here to show the shine of the metal. And then celebrate. I used confetti here around the doll dress. And you can see here where the shadows are added with the color pencil. And I really like what that did to them. It just added a little bit of body to them. So those were my 31 prompts for Junk Journal July, and I really enjoyed creating it differently, thinking about the prompts differently. I mean, there were some hard words in there, but it really made me think. And how I went about doing this is I would take one full day to create a page. So once I was done with the first page, I took day 12 then to sit and figure out the prompts for the rest of the page, and then go ahead and draw them all in. That way I didn't have to constantly think about it and then draw it out and then watercolor. I liked taking the one day to do it like a design day and just fit everything on the page the way that I want, because if you saw my desk when all this was going on, I had all kinds of things out on my desk that I could just trace or look at and draw, but it was allowing me to have that design day where that's all I had to think about was design, and then the next 10 days I could just sit and paint. And then when I got to the last page too, I did the same thing. So on day 22 I actually sat and designed the whole page, and then I went ahead and painted it the next couple days. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the Junk Journal July in here. And then for this one, this is my 100 Days of Random Things journal, and I got pretty far in here. Let's see, where did I get to? So all of this is my 100 Days of Random Things. So I had this much left to do. You can see it's not a lot, but I did want to finish them, at least on the front side, because I'm planning on doing 100 days next year again, and I want to do it on the back side of this journal. So I wanted to make sure that I finished what I had started on this. If you are unfamiliar with the concertina book, which is what this is, it unfolds. So it just keeps going and going and going. And I was able to fit 39 individual pieces on here. And let me bring you a little closer so you can see. So this was number 100. This is where my 100 days ended. And this I wrote July 2024 so that I know that I finished here. So here is 1, I did flowers. 2, I did the colors. 3, I did the leaf and a piece of tape. 4, I did the rose hips. 5, I did this little metal piece that I found. 6, I did the napkin ring. 7, I did this really long oil can. 8 was the snail. 9 was this little charm that I had. 10 was the little blocks. 11 was the marble. 12 was the playing card. 13 was the zebra. 14 was a library card. 15 was the tack and this little lotto card. Oh, I forgot to write the word art is there. I need to pencil that in. So that was 15. 16 was the pear. And then I decided to add the leaves, like this was all part of the pear. So that was 17 are the leaves. 18 is the star. 19 is this little charm. 20, I did my art dice. 20, 21, 22. And then 23 is the flowers. 24 is the little marble. 25 is this little chick. 26 is the pencil. 27 is the mushrooms. 28 is this little owl. 29 is the pussy willow branches. 30 is the color swatching. 31 is the blue train piece. 32 is the big rock. 33 is the small rock. 34 is that little bitty bird. 35 is the train. 36 is the rabbit. 37 is this dog with the little, like he is pulling a little wagon thing here. And then 39 is the leaves. And that's how the book finished. Isn't it cute? It's like he's waiting to go to the next page. So what I'm gonna do at the end is just probably put like a little arrow so that you know to go to the back side. And let me bring all of this closer so you can see it. Try to get that oil can all at one there. Here's the snail and the jewels, the card and the zebra. Here's my art dice. I love them. So you can see two different total experiences for July, but I loved each one for the way that it made me think outside my comfort zone. This one was definitely more design oriented, even though the other one had quite a lot. This one I was worried about flow and getting it to match and that kind of thing. So when I worked on something like this, I took a little bit of section at a time. So when I first started doing it, I would only do like that section. And then I was like, okay, where do I want my flow to go next? And then I did the leaf. And then I was like, well, I want something to kind of interrupt that here. So then I did the the little rose hips. I knew I wanted something light, but circular there. I like the circles here, circles there. So I like this, and it was pointing back there. It was kind of looking up at the charm. When I didn't have anything there, it looked strange that he was looking up. So I had done the oil can and the snail, and then I added that little charm there to just have something for the bird to look at. So that's kind of how I worked it. I worked it just a little bit of design at a time, just to kind of fill the space. Once this was done, I did these two things, just the card and the zebra, and I didn't know what I wanted after that. So that took me about a day to kind of think about, what do I want to fill this space? And I hadn't done any leaves, so I found a cool branch of leaves and just brought it in, and then I decided to make it like it was part of the pear. And I love that the pear is so tiny and these leaves are so big, but yet they're connected, so I thought that was pretty cool. And so I just worked a little bit at a time, and you can see the color flow. I've got green on this leaf, green on the snail, green on the marble here, green on these leaves. I really don't have too much more green over here. I shifted my colors to like the blue-green here and a little bit of red. Here I did a little bit of orange and a little bit of yellow. And you can see that I kept with those colors. Once I did these three, I kind of wanted to end with those kind of colors. And you can see I've got the peach here. I've got the like orangish here. I've got a little bit of raw sienna here. I've got some of that from the mushrooms and the crayon on the bird there. I continued the purple from the flowers onto his little vase that he's carrying. And then you can see that I just used, this is Hematite Violet Genuine from Daniel Smith, and I did it for all the wheels, and then I wanted the giant rock there, and it's part of the dog as well. So having the continuity in design and color and making it flow really nice, it takes a little bit of a challenge, but it is my favorite thing to do. I hope you enjoyed seeing the 80 pieces that I did for Watercolor Month in July. I think I fulfilled it pretty darn good. If you were inspired by today's content, please like, comment, or subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.